What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Here to talk a little more about our beloved Space Wolves. I know recently we have been going over Stormlance and Champions of Russ as to how they work in Space Wolves, and personally, I find those are the two best and most Space Wolf feeling detachments to me. But really, you can play any of the detachments from the Marine book and call yourself Space Wolves. I'm not going to say you have to play Space Wolves the same way I do. So I'm going to look at all the detachments from the Marine book today and see what Space Wolf specific units would really fit in there and how you could possibly make those detachments feel wolfy, if that's a good way to say it, and whether or not you can, just how you can play them in Space Wolves. I'm sure some of them will not really feel wolfy to me, but if that's how you envision Space Wolves, I mean, this is a hobby for all of us. I mean, then looked like there was an indent in my hat. I guess it's just a shadow. But then feel free to play them however you want. I mean, some people give me a lot of grief for my wolves being red, but that's just something that I enjoy. And don't let people tell you that takes away from whether or not you're a real Space Wolf player. But with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump into these detachments here. So the first one is going to be Gladius. This was the index detachment. This is, I guess, what you would call the most generic detachment, but it also is very, very flexible and tactical. I've played wolves in this a lot before I jumped on Stormlance and before Champions of Russ got fixed. Most of my lists were Gladius. So they have the combat doctrines, and you can choose each one of them once per game, and they last for one turn or one battle round. Devastator gives the whole army the ability to shoot in a turn in which it advanced. There are some builds that this is really nice into. Tactical lets you fall back in charge, fall back and shoot. Very, very key. And then you have Assault Doctrine, which lets you advance a charge. So you can build a list that has all elements that take advantage of all three of these. I find this to be the most well-rounded and balanced of the detachments. So it really just gives you some options to flex into anything. Ragnar and Blade Guard are still in good in this. Thunderwolves are good in this because you can pop the advance and charge one turn. Any of your shooty units, like everything works well in this. Like Long Fangs can be good in this. You can advance and shoot them. So there are lots of wolf units that fit into this just because of how flexible it is. So this is really easy to build a list that takes advantage of lots of unique wolf-only, like wolf-specific units from the Space Wolf Index. And then their enhancements: Artificer Armor, 2-up armor save, 5-up fill pain. That's plenty of. Put that on a Thunderwolf lore. Like, there's lots of stuff that this would be good on. On a Vehement, add 1 to the attacks of strength characteristics while of the bear's melee weapons. If you're in Assault Doctrine, you add 2 to both instead. Another really good melee buff. That's always good for Space Wolves. Add up to the Codex, Captain model only. Start your command phase. If the bear's on the battlefield, instead of selecting a combat doctrine to be active for your army, you can select the tactical doctrine. If you do, until the start of your next command phase, that combat doctrine is active for the bear's unit only, even if you have already selected that combat doctrine to be active for your army this battle. So, and this doesn't say you can only do this once per game, I think. So you could put this Wolf Lord on Thunderwolf has the captain ability, so you can put this on them, and then basically anytime you want, give them the fallback and charge. That seems really nice. Fire Discipline. This is what most people put on Apothecary Biologists and give to our big 6-man Eradicator squad. We can't do that. But you can still take this and put this on a character and still give them the sustained hits 1 and the crits on 5s and Dev Doctrine. So it's not quite as good as it is on the Biologist, but it still is pretty devastating in that Eradicator unit. And then there's Stratagems, Armor Contempt, pretty much in every Marine. Adaptive Strategy lets you select Devastator, Tactical Assault. It's kind of like Warrior Pride and Space Wolves, you can just pick a doctrine to be active for a specific unit. Only death does duty end. This is a fights on death, which is really great for Space Wolves. I wish we had that in Champions of Russ. So this can be really, really nice. You run in a Judicar and some Blade Guard, some Wolfen already have it. Wolf Guard Terminators, just anything like that that you fight in like a World Eaters matchup where they have fight first. Just lets them, they still get to hit you first, do damage to you, but it just eliminates your models not getting to swing at all. Storm of Fire, end of phase, ranged weapons have ignore cover, and if you're Devastator, get +1 AP. This is real good. Long Fangs are one of the best wolf-specific units I can think this works on, but you're going to take non-wolf-specific units in most of your detachments anyway, so if you have some Inceptors dropping in with Bolters, ignore cover, now all of a sudden they're AP2. So this can be really useful. Honor the Chapter, till end of phase melee weapons. Oh, Lance, yep, and +1 AP if you're an assault. Lance is always good for melee armies, and extra AP is always nice too. Squad Tactics, this is the they get within 9 of you, you can move 6 inches if you're in tactical, or D6 if you're not. I find these free moves are always nice. They had one in Stormlance that was auto 6, and I used it all the time. So Gladius, I think, is a really, really solid option for Space Wolves. If you're going full combat, Champions of Rust or Stormlance might be a little better, but if you want a more balanced wolf list, then I think Gladius is a really, really good option. Next up, we have the Anvil Siege Force. Their special rule is ranged weapons equipped by depth of starter's model from your army have the heavy ability. If such weapons already have the heavy ability, each time attack made with that weapon is, if you remain stationary, you add 1 to the wound roll. All right, so heavy is just giving most of your ranged weapons +1 to hit if you're stationary, and if they already have it, +1 to wound. That's fine. This doesn't build as well into wolves, but if you for some reason wanted to build a real shooty wolves list and not so much combat centered, this could be fine for you. Dominal Fury, Gravis model only. First time the bear is destroyed, roll a d6. At the end of the phase, on a 2-up, they're set back up on the battlefield as close as possible or destroyed, not within engagement range, with full wounds remaining. Wolves don't really take advantage of Gravis characters as much as some other armies do, so that's not really that great for us. Captain model, once per battle at the start of your shooting phase, you can select 1 point on the battlefield and place a marker on that point. At the start of your next shooting phase, place another marker on the battlefield within 12 of the center of the first marker, then draw a straight line between the center of each of these markers. Roll 1d6 for each unit the line passes over. On a 3-up, the unit suffers d3 mortals. This seems like it's too easy to avoid because so I don't think this is a super great for anything. Stoic Defender, depth of starter's model only. Will the bear's leading unit, models that unit have a feel no pain 6+ ability, while they're within range of that objective marker you control, and while that unit is battle shocked, have the OC characteristic of model that unit instead of changing it to 0. Feel no pain 6+, that's okay. I don't know if you want to pay points for it. If you want to feel 6 no pain, then at that point you might as well just play Russ and just choose to have bear active. Architect of War, depth of starter's model only. While the bear is leading a unit, ranged weapons equipped by models in the unit have ignores cover. So that's nice, getting ignore cover on one of your units. And then there's stratagems, armor contempt. No threat too great. 1 unit from your army until the end of the phase. Each time a model unit makes a ranged attack that targets monster or vehicle unit, you can reroll a wound roll. Rigid discipline. 1 adeptus unit from your army that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. You can immediately make a fallback move of up to 6 inches. When making that move, your unit must end the move either wholly within your deployment zone or within range of objective marker. So this is after the end of the fight phase, you can jump back. Battle Drill Recall. 1 adeptus starter's unit from your army that has not been selected shoot this phase. Till the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by models in your units have sustained hits 1. If your unit remains stationary this turn, then until the end of the phase, each time a model and unit makes a ranged attack, 5-ups are crits. All right, so this doubles down on the detachment rule. So if you're stationary, you can get +1 to hit. If you already have heavy, you can get +1 to wound. And you can also get sustained hits 1, popping on 5s. I don't find the layouts now really give you the option to sit still and shoot with stuff and get good targets very often. So I'm not a huge fan of this. Not one backward step. One of the starter's infantry unit from your army within range of an objective marker. Till the end of the turn, double the objective control of models in your unit, but it must remain stationary this turn. A Hail of Vengeance, your opponent's shooting phase after an enemy unit as a result of this attack. Your unit cannot shoot as your unit can shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but must target the enemy unit that shot them. So I don't find this to be a great detachment for wolves. If you want to build a real shooty wolf list, I guess you can, but other than Long Fangs, there's not a lot of wolf-specific units that are super shooty. And a lot of these, you got a lot of buffs and strats that want you to remain stationary, which I find is really counter to what wolves do best. So feel free to build a wolf list in this. I just don't feel this really fits any of the wolf-specific index units really well. So you're going to be building with mostly generic Marines. So if you just really want to play Space Wolves, but you really want to do this play style, cool, this would be the attachment for you, but I just don't think it really fits what we think of as Space Wolves. But if that's what you want to do, feel free to do it, you know. Ironstorm Spearhead, once per phase, for each Adeptus Astartes unit in your army, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 damage roll. Target Augury Web, Tech Marine model only, will furnish Adeptus Astartes vehicles within 6 of the bearer. That vehicle has lethal hits. Flesh is weak, Adeptus Astartes model only, bearer has a 4 feel no pain. Adept of the Omnisire, once per battle round, when saving throws failed for a friendly Adeptus vehicle within 6, you can change the damage to 0. That's kind of nice. Master of the Machine Aura, Adeptus Astartes model only, while a friendly Astartes vehicle was within 6 of the bearer, the vehicle is able to shoot even if fell back or advanced this turn. That's another really nice one. The fact that it's an aura is also really nice. Unbowed Conviction. Command phase, 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that is below its starting strength. Till the end of the turn, you can ignore any or all modifiers to its characteristics and or to any roll or test made for it, excluding modifiers to saving throws. All right, that's nice. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected its targets. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that was selected as the target of 1 or more of the attacking unit's attacks. Armor Contempt. Why am I reading Armor Contempt? Vengeful Animus, Adeptus Astartes vehicle model. You can use the stratagem on the model even though it was just destroyed. Do not roll a d6 to determine whether the wounds are reflected by your model's deadly demise. Instead, just auto-explode. Ancient Fury, so 1 Walker, so basically 1 Dreadnought. Until the start of your next command phase, improve your model's move, toughness, save, leadership, and objective control by 1. Each time your model makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. That's really nice for Dreadnoughts. That would really give Bjorn +1 move, toughness, and save. That could be really nice. Mercy is weakness. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. At the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is below starting strength, sustained hits 1, and while making such attack, if the attacking model is a vehicle, you crit on 5s. The Power of the Machine Spirit. 1 vehicle from your army that was reduced to below half strength as a result of the attacking unit's attacks. You can choose it for your shooting phase, but must target only the enemy unit. So this just lets 1 of your vehicles shoot back at something that shot it. I built a list in my building list for Champions of Russ that was Dreadnought and Vehicle Heavy that I think could switch over without changing a single thing and do well in Ironstorm as well. So if you haven't watched that video, check that out. That would be a good list that could jump over here. Bjorn, Murder Fang, Wolf and Dreadnoughts, Venerable Dreads. Even if you want to take the Space Wolf Flyers, there's quite a few decent wolf units that would benefit from these buffs, and you could build a pretty cool wolf list. So if you want to go Dreadnought vehicle heavy wolves, I still think Champions Russ isn't bad. Getting that 6-up feel no pain across the whole army on a vehicle army is nice, but If you wanted to tech in over here instead, that's still a very, very solid option. Firestorm Assault Force. Ranged weapons equipped by Depth of Stars models from your army have the Assault ability, and each time an attack made with such a weapon targets a unit within 12, add 1 to the strength characteristic of that attack. That's pretty solid. Assault and +1 strength. You could run a bunch of Grey Hunters. They have lots of special weapons options. Blood Claws, just their pistols. So you're going to be within 12 when you shoot. So you could really run a nice infantry-heavy army of wolf-specific units and really, really benefit from this. I think Long Fangs, like even maybe some of our vehicles could benefit from this, like the Flyers, the Stormwolf, the Stormfang. Yeah, Flyer with Assault and +1 strength within 12. That's not horrible. Most of their weapons are strong enough where +1 strength isn't huge. +1 wound would be a lot better, but on bolters and stuff, getting up that strength 5 really, really changes the math on a lot of situations. Enhancement, Tacticus model only, so Primaris models basically. While the bear is leading a unit, models in the unit can ignore any roll modifiers to characteristic or any rolls or tests made for them, excluding modifiers to saving throws. All right, so putting this into... I'm trying to remember if Blade Guard or Tacticus. If Blade Guard or Tacticus, they might not be. This would be real nice for them with like a Judicar. If they're not, then you're really just going in like Inceptors, not Inceptors, Intercessors, Infiltrators, stuff like that. And I'm not sure it's really that good if that's the case. War Tempered Artifice, infantry model only, add 3 to the strength characteristics of the bear's melee weapons. That's actually could be really nice for some wolf characters. Not any specific, because all our specific ones are named, but if you just want to build a captain out, that could be really nice on him. Forged in Battle, Depth of Stars model only, while the bear is leading a unit once per turn after making a hit roll or saving throw from on that unit, you can change the result of that roll to a 6. That's nice, just an auto 6. I'm not sure once for battle how useful that is, but because all of our character dreadnoughts and stuff, that doesn't help on, like, if so it's not like the one Votan used to have where the guy would give it to vehicles and stuff around him. So that sounds nice, but I'm really not sure how much that really affects the game. Then Adamantium Mantle. Depth of Stars model only. Each time an attack is allocated to the bear, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. The attack was made with a Melt or Torrent weapon. Change the damage characteristic of the attack to 1 instead. That's kind of nice. Put that on. You can put that on a Thunderwolf Lord or something if you're going to run them around, and then maybe even run them around single. And if they try to shoot him with something big, like Melt or Torrent, that's fine. That seems decent. Strats, Armor Contempt again. Demolition Protocols. One unit from your army that has not been selected this phase. Until the end of the phase, Torrent weapons equipped by models in that unit have devastating wounds. I don't think there's a lot of wolf-specific units that really, really take advantage of this. Like Bjorn and stuff can take like 1 heavy flamer, but like this would be really good on like flame aggressors and stuff like that. A Redeemer, so those are units you can definitely throw into this detachment, but this doesn't buff wolf-specific units really well. Crucible of Battle. One of Death Star's infantry unit from your army that's not been selected to shoot a fight. Till the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack that targets the closest eligible target within 6, add 1 to the wound roll. That's fine. You put that on some of your infantry units to already given them +1 strength within range, and then you also give them +1 to wound. That could really, really change some stuff. Your shooting phase, one of Death Star unit from your army that disembarked from a transport this turn has not been selected to shoot. Till the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target within 12, add 1 to the hit roll. If 1 or more enemy models destroyed as a result of any of those attacks, select one of those destroyed models that destroyed the model's unit, must take a battle shock. Alright, so you can possibly force a battle shock, but getting +1 to hit if you're within 12 And you're also already getting +1 strength within 12. That's just, doubling down on buffs, stacking on buffs. So that's not bad. Rapid embarkation. When a Sith starts transport unit from your army. One infantry unit from your army within 6. If you embark within that transport, you cannot target an infantry unit that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. They cannot normally embark within a transport or that disembarks from a transport this turn. Cannot target an infantry unit that is within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units. All right, so if they're in engagement, you can't. If it can't normally embark, or if it got out that turn. If you could do it out of a combat, this would be really nice, but it's still a decent little trick, I guess. And then Burning Vengeance, one unit embarked within the transport can disembark as if it were your movement phase and can then shoot as if it were your shooting phase, but must target only the enemy unit. When doing so, it can only do so if that enemy unit is an eligible target. All right, so they shoot at your transport, and you can jump your unit out and shoot back. Yeah, so if you think this will damage the enemy unit, that's fine. Otherwise, there's not much point doing it because you can just disembark during your turn, unless you think it'll get blown up by one of your opponent's next activations, and you can jump out to avoid the having to take the test for blowing up while you're inside. So if you wanted to run like a Bloodclaw, Grey Hunter, Long Fang, just infantry heavy wolf build, I think this could really, really give some buffs to that, but it is really, really buff shooting. But it also, you could just run Champion to Russ and get all the benefits to melee with those units, which I think is especially good for Bloodclaws. I think you'd rather buff their chainsword attacks than their pistols. But if you want to go Grey Hunter heavy with all like their heavy weapons, or not heavy, special weapons, there's probably some play here. Stormlance, not going to go through Stormlance. We've gone through that plenty of times. This is really good for Space Wolves, especially if you run on the Wolf Jail. Next, we got Vanguard Spearhead. Each time a ranged attack targets an Adeptus Stars unit from your army, unless the attacking model is within 12, subtract 1 from the hit roll, and you get cover. So this is just a nice defensive buff if you're not close to the enemy, although most wolf lists were trying to get close to the enemy. So I guess this helps you before you get there, but once you get in, not so much. The Blade Driven Deep, infantry model only, while the Bear's leading model unit have the Infiltrator's ability. That could be cool. Put that on like a Judicar and infiltrate some Blade Guard, infiltrate some Wolf Guard Terminators with like a Librarian or a Captain or something. That could be interesting. Ghostweave Cloak, the bearer has stealth and lone operative ability. All right, so yeah, you can put that on something and use it kind of like the combi weapon Lieutenant. Execute and redeploy. Phobos model only in shooting phase after the bear's unit is shot. If the unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, make a normal move up to 6 inches. If it does until the end of the turn, it's not eligible to declare charge. This cannot allow the bear's unit to move more than once in your shooting phase. This might be okay if you're attaching something to like eliminators. You're trying to get some sniper shots and then go back to cover, but you just take the instigator and they can already do that. Most of your other Phobos units aren't really that good at shooting. I guess it is just extra movement. If you take that Phobos Librarian, attach them to your infiltrators for the stealth and stuff. Move up, get some shots, do this, pop back out where you're going to be out of range. This is a neat little trick thing, but I'm not sure it's really worth spending points on. Then Shadow War Veteran, Phobos model only. Once for battle, after your opponent uses a strat, bear can use his hand stone. If it does until the end of the battle, you increase the stratagem cost to your opponent by 1 CP. I wonder if this works like Lord of Deceit now, or if this still functions that way. I'm not actually sure. It's something that I need to look into. But once for battle, so that's, I would assume that works like Lord of Deceit now. And if it does, would that pop that aura all the time? If it does, then that's really, really strong. Even if it still works the way it used to, that's not a bad thing to have. So depending on how Shadow of War Veteran works now, that might be a really nice enhancement. Then there's strats. We have Deadly Prize. One Adeptus strikes infantry or mounted unit from your army within range of objective marker you control. I like when stuff affects mounted and infantry because that's really good for Thunderwolves. The objective marker is said to be sabotaged. It remains under control even if you have no models within range of it until your opponent controls the start of any turn. Well, the objective marker of sabotage is under your control. Each time an enemy unit ends a normal, advanced, fallback, or charge move within range of the objective marker, roll 1d6. Roll 2 up, they take d3 mortal wounds. All right, so you stick to the objective and basically put a little bomb on it for blowing up the enemy. That's nice. For 1 CP, that's a really nice strat. Strike from the Shadows. One infantry unit. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your army makes a ranged attack, the target's enemy unit does more than 12 away. Improve the ballistic skill and AP of that attack by 1. If one or more of those enemy models are destroyed as a result of those attacks, like one of those destroyed models, that model's unit must take a battle shock. It's infantry only, but like again, if you're running Scepters or something in with your wolf-specific units, that's real nice. Armor Contempt, Calculated Feint. One infantry unit from your army that was selected as a target of that charge. Your unit can make a normal move up to D6 or 6 instead of its Phobos or Scout. You cannot select a unit that is within engagement range of one or more enemy units. All right, so this works with your Wolf Scouts, any of the Phobos Infiltrators, regular Scouts. You should be able to screen and just make it harder for people to charge it. That's real nice in like a melee mirror match, or not melee, a melee fight. Say you're fighting World Eaters, Orcs, anything like that. That's a nice little tactic. Surgical Strikes. One Adeptus infantry unit from your army that has not been selected to fight this phase. At the end of the phase, melee weapons equipped by models in your unit have precision. Guerrilla Tactics. Up to 2 Phobos or Scout squads from your army or one other infantry unit. Remove those units from the battlefield and place them into reserves. Each time selected, the strategy must be more than 3 inches away from all enemy models. All right, so you can put some of your units back into reserve at the end of your opponent's fight phase, but you have to be more than 3 inches away from the enemy. This has some cool little tricks. I really like this here. You can do that with Thunderwolves. You can do it on Squad of Bikes, just giving us sticky. So if you want to run like the Wolf Jail Tice list, you don't have any advance in charge. But if you just kind of push up, take the middle, and move past it, you're going to have a sticky objective sitting behind you that they got to come get. That's not horrible. So there's definitely some play here. I could see using this detachment. Then we got the First Company Task Force. Once per battle in your command phase, you can use this ability if you do until the start of your next command phase. Each time a model from your army with the Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, you can roll the wound roll as well. All right, so First Company Task Force basically has once per battle can have the old Oath of the Moment. So that could be really, really key on your go turn. So I like that because, yeah, it works combat and everything. Combat, shooting, whatever. So this is really nice. It's once per battle. I don't like rules that are once per battle, but it will be super strong on that one turn. Imperium Sword. Adeptus starters while only. Add one to the attacks characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons. Once per battle at the start of any phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, add one to the attack characteristics of melee weapons equipped by all other models in the bearer's unit as well. Actually, this is really nice. So once again, I know I mentioned the Blade Guard a lot, but running them with the Judicar, popping +1 attack to the rest, to all the Blade Guard, Wolf Guard Terminators, Thunderwolves. Put this on a Wolf Captain. Thunderwolf Lord. Sorry, Wolf Captain. Thunderwolf Lord. So that's a really nice enhancement. I like that. Yeah, it's +1 attacks to melee weapons. So this will be +1 to the dogs and the heirloom weapons. So this basically +2 attacks on all Thunderwolves. So actually, I really like this for Thunderwolves. Adeptus Astartes model only. While an enemy unit, excluding monster vehicles, is within 6 of the bearer, each time that unit fails a battle shock test, one model in that unit is destroyed, chosen by its controlling player. Once per battle, when such a unit fails a battle shock test, you can choose for D3 models in that unit to be destroyed in this way instead. If battle shock really isn't that big an issue for people to pass most of the time, this isn't something that reliably will work, so I really don't think you waste the points on it. Rights of War. Adeptus Astartes Terminator model only. Improve the objective control characteristics of the bearer by 1. Once for battle, you can choose the OC of his whole unit. That's okay. Although if you're taking Wolfguard Terminators, I find I'd rather take like Arjack, Njal, Logan, and you can't give them enhancements. So this I don't think is as good in Wolves because I don't think you're taking many generic Terminator characters to attach to the units. Iron Resolve, once you get another Terminator, model only, the bearer has a Feel No Pain 5+ ability. Once for battle, after bearer unit selected as target of one or more attacks, the whole unit can get the 5 Feel No Pain. So I really like Imperium Sword. The rest of these I don't think work that great for Wolves because we're not taking non-named Terminator characters very often, and the Battle Shock thing just isn't that great, I don't think. Armor Contempt. Then we have Duty and Honor, Dipstar's Terminator, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, or Vanguard Veteran Squad. Within range of deck marker, the deck marker remains under control, even if you have no models within range of it. All right, so you can sticky it with Terminators or Blade Guard. Those are the ones I think you'll take most often in Wolves. So that's actually a pretty decent strat. I have Ragnar some Blade Guard, Judicar and Blades Guard, Logan and some Terminators, just sticky an objective, and then run out in front of it and hit whatever's there. So now you got to dig through them first. That's a pretty good strat. Heroes of the Chapter. One of Devastator's Terminator, Blade Guard. All right, so it looks like some of these are going to just target those units. To the end of the phase, each time a model unit makes an attack, add 1 to the hit roll. If you're below half strength, +1 to wound. That's a fine strat. Orbital Teleportarium, 1 Terminator unit. Remove the unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. It will arrive back on the battlefield and reinforced in step of your next movement phase. Can't select a unit that's in engagement range. So this is really nice help with the mobility of Terminators. So you can drop in somewhere, hit something, and then disappear back around to somewhere else on the board. So this is actually a really nice strat if you want to run some Terminators with Logan, Arjack, or Njal. Terrifying Proficiency, Terminators, Blade Guard, Stern Guard Veterans, Vanguard Veterans. Your opponent's next command phase, each unit within 6 unit must take a Battle Shock test. The unit taking that test is below half strength, subtract 1. I don't like Battle Shock stuff. It's just not reliable. Legendary Fortitude, your opponent's charge phase. Terminators, Blade Guard, Stern Guard, Vanguard. Till the end of the turn, each time an attack is allocated to a model unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. That's really nice. So Teleportarium, Legendary Fortitude, and Duty and Honor are 3 really, really strong strats. Heroes of the Chapter, not so much. So if you want to really tech into Terminators and Blade Guard, maybe put the Blade Guard and some characters in some Impulsors, put some Terminators and characters in like a Redeemer or Repulsors, have some deep striking Terminators. I could see this detachment being really, really good for that, and you could really, really make it combat heavy, wolfy. Like I think this could fit in very well with Wolves. So that being said, I still find the 2 best detachments for Wolves are going to be Stormlance and Champions of Russ, just depending on how you want to build your army. And then I think Gladius comes in 3rd just because of its adaptability. And then this right here, the First Company Task Force, it's techs into a certain kind of build, but I think that could be really fun and really interesting to do as Wolves. I just jumped on the Champion of Russ bandwagon, so I'm maybe playing around with that for a bit. But this might be something I look into because I love Blade Guard. I love Wolfguard Terminators. So running a list heavy on that could be really, really fun. And then having that 1 turn of Old Oath, reroll hits and wounds could be super strong. So I actually really like the First Company Task Force. If I wasn't doing the Champions of Russ builds, playing around with them right now, I would 100% build a list for this. All the others are okay. You can build good lists for them. I just don't find they feel super, super wolfy to me. But if they feel wolfy to you the way you envision wolves in your head, then go for it. I just don't find they really help our wolf-specific index units that well. But these other ones, I think you can build really, really good lists that are centered around index wolf units with units from the Marine book supporting them, because you're not going to build a successful list straight out of the index. You do need support from the Marine Codex. But I do find right now I'm trying to build lists that the core characters or the core units of the army are wolf specific. Just like most of my lists right now are starting with Bjorn, throwing Ragnar, Iron Priest, stuff like that. Like, just give some real wolf flavor to it. But once again, I want to reiterate, you can play Space Wolves however you want and how you see them in your head, and that is all right. And it's not really anybody's place to tell you you're wrong or to just talk down on you for it. This is a hobby. Like, play it how you enjoy it. If you like the lore of Space Wolves, but you want to play a specific way, you know what? That's completely fine. And I hope you do well and enjoy yourself doing it. But with that being said, that's where we're going to end this video. Everyone, please like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you guys want to see or hear next. And I'll see you next time.